I'm going to tell you about two of my mentors, Scott Garvey and Chi Chu. They were also my bosses at various times. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Scott Garvey was my boss at one of my first jobs out of college. He was not officially my mentor, but I learned a lot from him about being a manager. He led a team of 5 at Digital Communications Associates, DCA, in Alpharetta, Georgia, just north of Atlanta. Our team did technical support for a programming language called Jalopy. You've probably never heard of it, but this was a programming language the company's products used. For many technical support folk, these can be people who only know a little bit more about computers than the people who are calling, if even that. But for a programming language, this meant that the callers would be computer programmers who most of whom already knew a lot about computers. And when they were having trouble, it meant you needed a team with a lot of computer knowledge to help them. Scott was always friendly and laid back, but professional. He didn't interfere with what his employees were working on, but he made sure they weren't stuck and were making progress. If something was blocking you, he would do what he could to clear the path. He got general statistics on how well we were doing, such as how many phone calls we were able to answer, but he understood that there would be exceptions which could make the numbers look funny, such as getting an extremely difficult question sometimes. Like a mentor, he didn't dictate what to do, but listened to you and worked with you on how you wanted to solve your own problems. Because many of the problems we had to solve were difficult, we typically spent about half the day answering the phone and the other half investigating the problems that had been reported to us. With any extra time, we wrote example programs in Jalopy, the programming language. The source code of the programs were given to customers to show off what one could do with Jalopy. This gave us a wide canvas of acceptable projects to work on, which we had a lot of fun with. We were being paid to write fun little games. As long as it used Jalopy, Scott Garvey was happy. After about a year, Scott realized I could do much more for DCA than just working in technical support. He learned of a new project the DCA was going to start working on, and they were forming a research team to make it. Scott recommended me for the team before I had even heard of it. They were skeptical. I was less than 2 years out of college, but they took me on a trial basis as a junior developer, and I was grateful for the opportunity. Scott lost an employee on his team for the benefit of the employee and for the company. Another mentor I had was Chi Chu. Chi was a development manager at Microsoft. I was working at Microsoft, but not a manager or a lead. I wasn't even working in the same division as Chi. But I saw an open position for a lead on Chi's team, interviewed for it, and was offered the position. Chi knew I was new to being a manager, and he was a mentor to me while I was taking on the new responsibilities. He would meet weekly to discuss how things were going and help me improve. The best piece of advice he gave me was to try to speak at least once in every meeting. It might be hard to imagine that I was different 20 years ago, before Toastmasters and before Chi, but I was very shy. To speak up in a meeting means to have and show the courage to ask a question that others were afraid to ask, or to offer an additional point of view, or simply to confirm you are understanding what others have said. He didn't explain how or why it works, but it had worked for him, and it has helped me tremendously in my career. He also asked for status reports with 3 key lists. 1, what you have completed since the last report. 2, what you are working on now or next. And 3, what issues or anomalies you are anticipating with upcoming work. This is simple enough that it does not take or waste much time in generating, but it gives a manager a clear understanding of your progress, what you are working on, and what they can do to help. These were my two mentors, Scott and Chi. Scott may not have known that he was being a mentor to me, but I learned by watching him. And this is how I try to be as a manager to my employees. Both a manager and a mentor can point out the great qualities a person already has, point out what may not be going well, make suggestions for improvement, and sincerely want the employee to grow. So I try to be both. Toastmaster of the Day.